Good morning. Happy last trading week of the month. So
Yep.
good to be
Last
back.
weekly
It's a short
candle.
last monthly
I'm sorry.
candle. Last shortest week, yeah,
Yep. Last
or
weekly candle
shortest
this
month, I
month.
should say.
I'll be happy to put February behind us. It was kind of like last week when I was talking about going to school in high school and you're just like February is like the worst month. There's no breaks or anything. You just want it to be over. And they really stuck it to us this month. They really tried to make the a bullish pattern look bearish this month.
Well,
For the
I think the monthly candles, they say it all right here. When you look at the monthly candles, they really did nothing for the past 3 months in a row. They went up
oh
to the
yeah
same price every single month, and they've been getting like the bodies of the candle has been getting like narrower and narrower and narrower, kind of like a sell signal, like an inverse sell signal.
yeah yeah. I would say
But
a
like,
bull flag to me.
yeah, it's like a bull flag, but it's been literally doing nothing while the sentiment has been, oh my God, this is going to collapse. It's just going to go. It's the bull market's over. The bear market's going to commence. But when you look at this objectively, you're like, okay, it's getting hit by resistance. It's not doing anything except cooling off because it just had a monster move. Like, look at how extended it is still from all of these averages. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just ridiculous. All these narratives out there, it just doesn't make any sense when you look at the monthly charts. It doesn't make any sense. Even with QQQ, you look at the monthly chart. This is the same thing for the past 3 months. It's been getting rejected by this like 520s zone the whole time. Can't get above it, and it's still maintaining support perfectly, and it's just cooling off after a massive rally. IWM too, even on the monthly chart, it's not even that terrible, right? It still is going higher and higher. It is below the monthly conversion line, so let's watch that 220.84. But if that just turns into a wick and closes above it, then everything is normal with the IWM too. So I think what people are fearing is unwarranted, and things are still pretty good. Even on the weekly chart for IWM here, the 50-week moving average is still down there at 215. That it's nicely above, so it's not really concerning to me. Even though I really wanted to get back above this 226.74 to get this ball rolling, but I guess it just wants to take more time.
Yep.
So,
Stupid Ichimoku cloud. Why is it so far away? The green
well,
is
it's
like
pretty
way out there
close.
today.
It's pretty
Uh,
close for the IWM though, but for the QQQ and SPY, yeah, it's kind of far.
yeah.
All right, well,
What
let's
else?
get started. So we have some interesting developments with Tesla pre-market. So what was once a red stock pre-market is now a green stock pre-market. And where is this pain train going to stop for Tesla? Well, it all depends on if this weekly candle was a fake out or not. And we'll decide that if it can close back above this baseline at 345. So I think this week we'll determine that because sometimes we see candles close below just to get people nervous, and then they close right back above levels the following week. So if it can close back above 345.56 or even this linear scale 347.58, the 786, then I think it's back on track. But if it doesn't close the week above it, then I think the potential to go lower is still there, down to the 320s. And if you watched my weekly update, that if it does get rejected again, then potentially it could even go back down to this 295, which is the 618, which is also a previous resistance back in July 2023. Back test flip to support. So I think this is a pivotal week really for Tesla to reclaim support. If it can't reclaim it, then it's still going to be resistance, and you're not going to see excitement out of me. So at least a weekly counter close this Friday above 345.56 at a minimum to get back on track.
Yeah. Matt does a weekly Tesla and Palantir update every week after the candle closes on Friday. You can catch the last one he did just from this past Friday and have a new one this Friday.
So I think it's really important to watch how it reacts if price gets back up here. So 345, 347. Watch this zone. If it can't break above, then watch out below, I think. So with that said, Tracker.
I'll show some just interesting pivot points for Tesla here. You might want to take a screenshot of this. I guess I should. I'll send this out publicly as well. But price is sort of stuck down here by this monthly support one. The monthly pivot is up here at 413.53, and if that's as far as it goes, then that's great. For lower, today's daily pivot. I'm sorry, the weekly pivot is here at 347. Daily pivot's up here at 354. So let's see if we can get above. If we can get back to the weekly pivot at least 347.88. This would probably be the first major resistance that we'd see today. And then if it can keep going bullishly to the daily pivot up here at 354.90. Overall, I think you guys all know my long-term thesis. I'm still looking for Tesla to hit $711 by July 18th, and either we're going to have to make up for it this in March. We'll have to make up for it really bigly at the end of this month and into March, or I'm just going to be completely wrong and it's going to be way off. But it doesn't quite look like this inverted head and shoulders anymore with the way this it's like a headless horseman now. There's like a neck hole where the head should be. You do the Tesla and Palantir weekly updates. Here's my this is PTIR. It's the 2x ETF of Palantir. Sometimes I like to look at these because the derivative is just easier to look at than the actual stock itself. And this is what Palantir, hit a top at Wednesday, February 19th. And by Thursday, it was down here. By Friday, it was here. And even today now, it's checking out this previous support zone at 183.25 for. I guess I could just look at Palantir. Most of you guys are looking at Palantir. So this is what's going to happen. If price makes a lower low than 95.80, which was the low on Thursday last week, then it's going to go lower. And probably to my 8-hour moving average 75 down here, about 87.92 is actually this 382 support. Because what I was looking for was, after this being a wave one, wave two, I just was looking for 764, 382. We got more than 764, almost to the 100%. But it still looks really good. If it hits the 382 at 87.92, then it's, I could just draw you a big arrow that says this is going to go up really fast to this 1382 level. So, you can start DCAing into Palantir now, or, start adding if you sold up there. Start adding back. Either it double bottoms at 95.73, or it turns around very soon, or it makes a new lower low and we go down to, this 87.92 is where I would expect to see it. All right, there you go. There's a 2 for Tesla and Palantir.
Yeah, I agree. Palantir, it either is going to hold this mid-90s zone, or it's going to go back to what Tracker just said, I think. Yeah, we'll see. But either way, it's pretty close to that zone after that wild week last week.
Yeah, it kind of did Matt's 1618 up here for like a retrace from 2123 to where it topped out near 84, 80, and then it went 161% higher than that.
All right.
Let's see.
I'm gonna do Bitcoin real quick here, just to.
Okay. Yeah. Great.
Just to show you, I was showing Tracker this morning my 4-hour chart, and I wanted to show everybody here that I usually just show on my Tier 4 Patreon, but it's at a pivotal moment right now, right? We just see it's in a little nook, as Tracker would say, that basically the arc and this 45-degree angle, it's right there. So it's looking for direction, and it needs to find it. So hopefully that's to the upside, not down to the downside, because then that would just be more time and more under pressure for Bitcoin. down here. So what I'm really looking forward to is maybe in the next couple of 4-hour candles, right? Perhaps even by Tuesday, we can see it just start to break above and then trend higher and then continue to go. Right, that's what I'm really looking at. And if that's the case, then that could be good for Coinbase, MSTR, and all that other stuff too. And so that's what I'm really focused on for Bitcoin at the moment. And speaking of Coinbase here, this one had a weak, I guess a Mara Batsu, is that what you call it? Bearish engulfing candle.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we've seen that many times, and we saw it like really kind of like right here back in September, and it was like a reversal pivotal point. And it also kind of reminds me of this too, because it closed below levels, right? It closed below the fib level here, and it closed below the cloud here. And like this one, it closed below the 786 important fib level and the 50-week moving average. So it's kind of closed below multiple levels again. But right now we see maybe the weekly candle is going to open back above the 50-week moving average. So perhaps it'll be able to maintain and flip everything back to a support this week. But if not, then maybe it's just going to take the long game here and just trickle down this arc, because this arc was finally touched for the first time, and maybe get closer to the cloud. So perhaps April or May is when it wants to go, right? But either way, longer term for this stock, I'm still very bullish on it, because this is a very nice structure, right? Higher highs, higher lows. I cannot not like this stock, right? If I just look at it objectively and I don't even know what the name is, I'm like, yeah, I would like to buy this stock, you know? And so therefore, I am continuing to add to my Connell position because I do enjoy what it looks like. I think it has potential to go to all-time highs and beyond, maybe even the 800s or 900s above eventually.
Oh yeah.
Do you have a
Yeah, you
Coinbase?
just have to. It's hilarious. Matt draws these Gann charts like way early on, and to see like prices go right into that tiny little nook on his chart in Bitcoin. It's hilarious. You just have to laugh at
Yeah,
how
Bitcoin.
magical it is.
Yeah, I've been
Here's
showing
my
this chart on
okay.
my Patreon for this. I haven't changed it since it was like basically like right down here back in December. It's just the same chart, and you can see how it just respects the arcs and respects the blue level and the 45-degree angle. And that's all I was doing. It was buying time to get to the 45-degree angle for Bitcoin right there. And so now it's at a pivotal moment. Let's see which direction it goes. So go ahead,
Gann
tracker.
magic. Gann magic. Um, let's see. If I look at my Bitcoin chart, I've been tracking it in this triangle here, and this is my 4-hour Bitcoin chart, and it's just been kind of like following along with the moving average 75, and it did like the triangle thing goes up, down, and now it's kind of stalling for time by staying on the bottom side, because according to my triangle, once it goes to the upside, it's just going to break up and out and through. So this next time should take it out. This is why I posted this publicly last week. I said, I'm looking for a new all-time high of 110,834, and then beyond, because eventually it's supposed to go up here to I think 116,000. Maybe test back to the triangle, then go up past that. So that will take everything else up. ConL and Coinbase. Let me show you. This is my coin chart with no alterations from last week. And so you can see it did make a slightly lower low than the wave 2 I picked before. This is the definition of an extended wider flat of this wave 2. My larger degree chart, this is my wave 1. This is my wave 2. And now we're in wave 3. And it finished the wave 1 of wave 3. But then the wave 2 of wave 3, it kind of had a false start and then fell back a little lower. So it's an extended wider flat of 2 of 3. And we still have all of, 3 of 3, 4 of 3, and then 5 of 3 to get to 501. But that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, like Matt just said, like 500s for Coinbase. So ConL looks like this now. It's same thing. This is still my larger degree wave 1, wave 2. Now we're in wave 3, sub 1. And then this kind of went 618236. Both times it kind of dropped below the 236 line a little bit, but that's fine. Maybe we'll get maybe my target should be 70.59 next, but we'll see. Oh no. We already did 618.236. My next target should be 123.6. So $123.94 is the 123.6% fit extension higher from here. And that's what we're looking at next. Just a nice long, a third wave style run up, and that's what March is supposed to be.
Yeah.
For all the Bitcoin concerns and Tesla, as I see it, according to the Larry Williams cyclical report that I got to read over.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
I got a MicroStrategy since we're still on that topic.
Yeah.
So MicroStrategy, another one.
Let me just say before you get started.
Go ahead.
I just want to say quickly, a lot of charts look like they're broken. It's broken. It's gotten a lower low or whatever, but they're just extended wider flats. Most of the charts, the wave 1, wave 2 is intact, and we just sort of had a false start for the next wave 1 and wave 3.
Yeah. And yeah, with MicroStrategy, it's another one that kind of closed below a level last week. That's the blue GAN level just by a fraction, but it's pre-market. It's back above. It's going to open back above it, so it has potential to hold. And that's kind of been the theme. When you look at like the Bitcoin miners, you look at Coinbase, you look at Tesla, they all close below levels. And some of the levels are pretty obvious that they close below. And I think it's because everybody watches them, right? So if everybody watches them, then everybody's going to be in panic mode, and that'll be right where the market makers want you. So perhaps this will be the pivotal week to get back above all of those levels and continue higher. So I think if Bitcoin can continue to break out above that little nook that I've showed you guys, then perhaps MicroStrategy, the low, could be in as well. And nothing is broken with this stock either. It's still a higher low. And everybody's like, oh, the gap is going to get closed down here. I mean, that is still a possibility. Yeah, I'm not going to count that out. But in the meantime, it's still holding this level. And pre-market is kind of proof of that because it looks like it's going to open up above that level pre-market. So I cannot be too bearish on Bitcoin or MicroStrategy at the moment. It's just stuck in a range, and that range is basically 300 up to 340 right here. You can just see all these weekly candles are basically in that range for a long time. So until one of those really breaks, I can't really assume either way, and I think it's just stuck in a range, and you know why? Because of the Ichimoku cloud is still kind of extended for... where did my Ichimoku go? I think it disappeared. Anyways, but it's kind of extended for that indicator. So let's just be patient and see where it develops. And the range is like 300 to 340 right now.
All right. I've got HIMS up here. My prediction for where is it going to contract to, it did have a very nice, it basically extended 300%. It was a 300% extension over the wave 1 start here. So that's really great. That's almost unheard of. Not unheard of, but what a run. Anyway, so now it's doing the correction. Either the best case is so I took from the very top 72.98, and on my 100% level retrace, I retrace it not to the start of the whole wave cycle, but to the larger degree, to the wave 3, wave 2 bottom. That's where I always take my first retrace. And the best case is a 50% retrace, and then the usual likely case is a 618 retrace. Though in this case, it looks like I'm going for the 70.2% retrace just because this moved down so fast to the 50%. If it only bounces up, to the 382 or more, it's probably going to come down at least that much deeper. So either it did the whole thing and it's just about done now. You can see it's kind of, if we get real close, it's starting to kind of go sideways around this 50%. So this could be support for HIMS. Like, it's a good place to buy some, because even if it's not the ultimate support, it'll bounce a little higher, which you could sell off before it goes lower, or you can just buy some now. And if you miss selling off when it goes higher and you just want to accumulate, just look for a bit lower to get DCA back down here. Anyway, I like Hims now. This is the buy zone from here to. I guess I should extend it a little higher because we're here now. Yeah, about 50 dollars and 50 cents to as low as maybe $37. All right, that's that. I'm going to leave the miners to you, Matt. I don't really want to talk about the miners, mostly because until Bitcoin does something, I'm not really going to mess around with my miner
Yeah,
charts.
miners are annoying, but yeah, I'll take a stab at them because they are probably some of the most higher beta plays in the stock market, and people love them, but they can't handle the downside risk. They only want the upside reward. So with that said, let me just do Mara real quick. And yeah, so here's another example. Mara closed below levels, right? And we can see it closed below this 45-degree angle too, with another Marabatsu candle, basically. But it's done it before, right? You can see one here, essentially, and then a reversal, right? We can see one when we go back in time. Like maybe there's another one here, and there was a reversal too. So we've seen it before, and it's notorious for closing below levels and then going higher, right? It even did it right here where it closed below the 100 and then it went higher, and now it closed below the 100 week moving average again and the 45. So perhaps it'll just have a reversal sooner or later, but it could also trend higher underneath this angle as a resistance too, and then just do something like this for the time being, and then get more bullish that way too. So it could take more time. So it doesn't really make a difference on market structure either, because it's still a higher low from here. Nothing is really broken. It's still basically, if you just drew a line right here, it's like touching all of these wicks right here in this zone. We can even move it up a little bit right there. It's touching all of these wicks here. So it's a really high demand zone in this zone. So is it broken? No. But did they make people panic by this bearish engulfing candle? I think probably yes, right? So they're doing their jobs by closing below levels on a lot of charts, even with CLSK here. They closed it back below the 200-week moving average as well. So is it broken technically, though? No, because it's still higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. It's fine. Nothing is technically broken with the stock. That's why if people only use indicators of like moving averages or Ichimoku, then perhaps they're like really bearish on it. But when you combine that with market structure, with higher highs and higher lows, and that's why I always say market structure is king to determine if it's a bearish chart or a bullish chart. And it's still a bullish chart from the bottom, right? Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher high, higher low. Like it's not technically broken at all. And a lot of the miners, yeah, a lot of stocks close below levels, but technically speaking, they are not making lower lows. So what that really means to me is they're just pulling your legs, and eventually things are probably going to go a lot higher. But they're just catching everybody off guard right now.
Yep. I'm trying to redo my BlackBerry chart. I've got here. BlackBerry's got earnings coming up. Well, in April. It's a while out. There's a 4-hour BlackBerry chart. It looks like the wave 4 I predicted is kind of coming true. I had to move some stuff around because my fibs are a little wonky, but you can see on the 4-hour chart that BlackBerry's come down to the moving average 75 again here. That's right about 515. It could be just about done. 100%, 61. Yeah, this chart's weird. I guess what I'm looking for is for a more established larger degree 1-2. So it kind of feels like it's still working on a retrace. Maybe that's what I should do. Is instead of doing that, let's look at it this way. Why are these fibs so weird? Sorry about this.
Yeah, I could just answer a question. Like Evan's asking, why are miners
Please do.
underperforming Coin MSTR the last two cycles? I think the main reason is they're kind of following like the altcoins this cycle, and a lot of altcoins are underperforming Bitcoin right now. So that just kind of implies that everything's going to be later cycle for the Bitcoin miners. So that's what I think for that. But if you want to work on that, I can just jump into XYZ because I see a question for that. XYZ, we can see XYZ. Yeah, it's another one that closed below the 100-week moving average. So another one that closed below a level. And but it did hold the top of the Ichimoku cloud. So this one's fine, right? Still higher lows from here, still a big breakout. It's a nice big back test, and I think this zone has has possibility to hold. So I was expecting it to stay on top of the arc here and the 50, but it didn't do that. It just decided to get the liquidity lower, and I guess now we can just wait, right? It's going to probably stay in between this zone for maybe some weeks or so before it kind of breaks out, but this is still a bullish chart. Still has from the bottom here higher highs, higher lows, and after maybe a few weeks of consolidation, I think it can go higher back above the arc and then eventually towards this 200-week moving average above around 102. So nothing is technically broken here either, even though it had a big 18% bearish candle there for XYZ. So am looking for it to recover, maybe after just bouncing off of this cloud for a little bit before trying to go higher.
All right, I zoomed out on Blackberry and I kind of see where I'm just kind of getting lost in the in a little grove here, but the whole forest is a larger degree retraced back to 2877 was the previous high, and I think it's just trying to get back to there. So 382,236,618 takes us to 1223 next, $8.33, and then up to 1855. Which is about 250% higher than where price is right now. It's just that if you do get into the nitty gritty, if you really care about trading this tightly, you could buy some, but don't go heavy until you draw a moving average 75 on your own chart, and on the 8-hour chart, wait till price at least touches it, and then maybe go from there. So it could go lower to like 437 or as low as 393 next, but I kind of see it testing more supports. Probably, I can't be sure, but the bigger picture is it does want to go higher. If you're not worried about just waiting for some time, you can buy it and just forget about it for a while and just let it see if it'll test back up higher here. OSCR.
Oscar.
Here's my Oscar health chart. I bought Oscar based on this chart right here. The larger degree 1, 2 is done, and it's just coming off of that wave 2 bottom, unless it makes a new lower wave 2. I think it already did, right? I had to move this down last week, but anyway, from here it just looks good. 2904 next, and then skip to the end, 5 waves up. Takes us to 6421 or 300 prices right now. So yeah, I like Oscar. I bought some of this. Look for it to hit resistance at $20.73 on the way up, because again, whenever it's going to go to a 1-2, the wave 2 level, that's going to be support. It's going to be resistance first to sort of foreshadow it being support later. So look for it sort of stalls under 2073, but once it breaks out, get over under 29 really fast, and then almost just as fast come right back down to 2073 again before going higher.
All right. I see some crypto requests in there, so I can jump on that.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, so I see a SUI, and SUI, it did have a good weekly candle close yesterday right here above the 1.272. That is the main thing I'm watching at the 3.309, and it did close above it yesterday, and it did open above it, but now it's going back down. It's the beginning of the week, so it can even go back down to the baseline at the 305, but essentially the target is 331. I want to see it continue to hold above there, inside these arcs, keep building a base inside there, and then going higher. So until it definitively continues to close in there, I'm going to be still a little bit cautious in this zone because it looks like it could test lower. If it starts to break below this baseline, it could even go back down to the low twos here. But in the meantime, my main focus is 331. Just try to get back above it, try to stay above it, try to build a base on top of it to go higher in that regard. So I do think it has a good chance. Just got to keep watching week after week for that. And I see another request for Velo. So Velo, it is a good chart, right? It's building a base on top of the 382, basically the 0.0182, and it is going below it, but it's also building a base right on top of the orange level of the GAN at the 0.017, and the 50-week moving average is right there below as well. So it's looking nice with higher highs, higher lows, and on top of many indicators here, trying to build a base, a nice foundation for support. And I see one last one here of Corium. So Corium with the US dollar, that's not really the right one I want. Corium, maybe Mexi. Yeah, we'll do this one. So Corium, we can see it's trying to get on top of the weekly cloud, but not yet. So that is the main focus for me. But in the meantime, it's finally back above the 100 and the 50 here, so it has potential to go higher. And it still is not really going too much higher than the previous high over here. So I would like to see that really start building a base on top of this 33-cent zone here. Once that can happen, then I think it goes much higher. But until then, it's really trying to establish a bullish market structure and not go lower anymore. So let's just focus on not going below the 13-cent zone. And if it stays above that, then it has potential to go higher. So, I see one more of Ando as well. Sorry. Ando. And Ando, I do have again here. And I did mention this in my Telegram, my Patreon tier 4, that it's probably going to the 50-week moving average when it was up here. And that's exactly where it's going again. So there it is, 102, with even more confluence of support at the blue arc below in the 90s. So I think just a little bit lower first, establishing its new higher low for the potential to continue to build a base on top of this bottom arc and then go higher. So just range bound really, but I think lower first before higher again. So with that said, tracker.
I'll do Bullfrog and Cleety real quick here. With just a note about metals like gold and silver. I just look at those cyclical stocks these days. So it's been kind of low, maybe or mid. Maybe it'll oscillate a little higher, but I don't think it's going to make like new crazy higher highs and then just keep going. I think it'll probably hit some higher peak and then just fall back off again. It kind of comes in and out of favor, regularly. But here's Bullfrog. I'm looking forward to mostly just an ABC up now. And it kind of did a really bullish B up to the 50% level, back to this 214, well, kind of the 23.6. So I'm looking for a 782 now. 687 is my target for Bullfrog, but it looks like it's kind of doing a diamond here. The diamonds have like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pattern. It's like it bounces around inside the diamond a lot. And so I've got this next leg up here. It'll probably run back up here to about the same height as here, about 454 or so. Then run back down to the bottom, check this triangle out one more time, and then go up. So, 454, then maybe 324, then 687. And that's that. CLDI, another small cap biotech that I like a lot. Oh wait, this is the wrong chart. Gotta go here. Oh, I already got it right here. Still sort of in this triangle bottom, so down here now. But 382, more than 236. When the rubber band releases, it'll probably do more than 618, maybe 70, 20. Yeah, oh, this one, look at 78.6. So $3.18 is where I'm looking for Cleety to go next, even though it's come all the way down here to like $1 again. So I still like it. Market makers are trying to push it down deeper and deeper. But yeah, if you're in it, stay in it. If you're not in it, buy a little bit. You don't have to go crazy. It's a small cap, but 162%. No, even more than that. Where prices right now, I'm looking for 208% higher just for starters. And the larger degree chart, it's got a lot to retrace. Whoops. So if it does this larger degree retrace, then you're looking at something more like almost 1,000% higher if it goes to 1060 next. All right, that's Kalidi and Bullfrog, and it's 9:05 a.m.
Yeah, I'll do one more, and then if you want to do one more too,
Okay.
I'm gonna do sell H, and all right, here's my sell H chart, and yeah, again, this is another example of one that closed below levels, right? It closed below the blue level for a couple of weeks, right? The previous 2007 high of 24.47. So it closed a couple of weeks, and then that was really the liquidity grab there, and then price just rebounded higher. It was also the bottom of the monthly Ichimoku cloud right there as well, too. So that was a pretty good confluence of support. But that was the opportunity, I think, around this 24 all the way down to the low 20s. That was the opportunity. And now price just monster bullish engulfing. And I don't like to chase. So now the potential to go higher is there, but it's going up towards the 200-week moving average, and that's at 38. So I can't be overly bullish on it anymore until it really starts to get above more and more resistance levels at a time. But in the meantime, your support could be your 31.14 baseline right there, with the potential of going to the $38 range. So yeah, it's more and more bullish, but the true opportunity is usually when nobody wants it, when it goes below, to get that liquidity below before it really does a monster move. So all the signs were there with the weekly and the monthly chart showing that that could hold, and sure enough, it did hold, and price went higher.
Yep. I'm also going to show my CELH chart to finish this morning off. Yeah, I was supposed to buy. We covered CELH last week, and I was supposed to buy it Thursday morning, and I forgot.
That happens to me all the time. I always
forget. That hurt. I meant to buy it, and so it did the crazy candle. This is on the larger degree chart. This whole thing was a lovely 5 waves up, following the 764, 382. It went 150, 100, then 2382, which is a little weird in the middle, but that's not terrible. And it did a full retrace. I got rid of my retracement fibs, did I? Shoot, I did. Anyway, it's done. That was the support, and this is the way I see it going now. At least an A, B, C back up, and the A is like 49.65, 40.29, and then $69.63. Or that could also make a large degree wave 1, 2, which gets outlandishly big. But let's look at the ABC first now. Like Matt just said, it did do a monster move up here. Maybe watch the weekly conversion and baseline interaction. It's probably going to get stuck. Let's get real close. It's probably going to get stuck between the weekly conversion and baseline for just a little bit. So between $31 and $27, there's your test back period. Maybe if it hits $27 again, I'd buy right there. And then, yeah, from $27, if it hits the Ichimoku conversion line, that's 77% higher to the A wave and 150% higher to the C wave. And if it does a 5 wave up, it's 213% higher to the wave 3 subwave 1. So there you go. I like it. I wish I'd bought it Thursday. Like what I was going to do to it. All right. Again, this week we're looking for either a reversal or at least a start to reversal this week into March. Friday was a terrible, scary looking day, and they did that on purpose to try to shake all the weak hands out. And too many people were just kind of buying stuff on margin. Matt and I like to trade. We like to buy stocks, and we don't trade on margin, and we don't.
Yeah. I don't even do
overreach
I
for
don't
these exact reasons when they.
I don't do options either because I don't like time to determine my profits, because a lot of times that's the
Yeah.
easiest thing for market makers to do. They can oh, the majority are waiting for this time and this price. Oh, guess what we're going to do? We're going to make these expire worthless, It's like they can F with you so easily in options. It's ridiculous. And unless you do leaps, that's a little bit more difficult. But if you're doing short dated calls, you're getting screwed. The majority of retail people that does short dated calls, they are not making money at all because they are just a money maker for market makers. That's all they are. They are clear.
They're putting really expensive coin. Yeah.
Go ahead.
They're putting really expensive coins into the slot machine.
Yeah, like
That's
they,
all.
when you buy a short dated, you know who's selling it to you? It's most likely a market maker, and they're the ones that are controlling the price. So be careful with those zero dated calls or whatever you're doing, short dated calls, puts, whatever, because it's gambling. It's really gambling because you're
Yeah.
not. Go ahead.
The most we'll do is
Hello?
we'll do these 2x ETFs because they do pay better than the underlying stocks, and we can hold them for a long time and not worry about losing all our money until they pay off. Oh, that's one thing I wanted to point out is that on the weekly on MSTX, the weekly Ichimoku baseline just showed up, and here it is.
Oh,
it's up here
nice.
at $118.16, while the price is way down here at $33.71. So
To the moon.
that's a nice 3x move right there, just to get back to the baseline.
Yeah. All right, guys. Yeah,
All right.
I gotta run.
Well,
So see you guys next time, tomorrow.
Yep. Well, tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
All right,
Good
guys.
luck.